Welcome to Totalitarian Tuesday, folks. Oh man, it's still going off in the background. How's everybody doing? Ads, coffee first, then speak. Really, they hit you guys with ads before the live stream? What up with that? Prepping Mantis, Steven, what's happening? BLT, Stray Kitten, Hunter in the house, East Tennessee Preparedness, Keystone Preparedness, Charmaine Montgomery, Ghost Lincoln, Lori Q. Hello, and welcome back to Totalitarian Tuesday. Santiago's even in the house tonight. What's happening, my friend? So Prepper Now is supposed to be joining us. He is fashionably late, but it is around the time that, most people put their kids to bed on a school night. So he has plenty of play in my book. So he's busy dude. But how's everybody doing? Cowboy 3-2 Actual, welcome. Uncle Charlie's got 4 types of apples. Going to try growing from seed. Fantastic. Mama Bear, how are you? My man Marco, what's going on, my friend? How are you? Bob Dunn in the house. What's happening, my brother? Johnny Preps.
Big names.
Yeah, man. Yeah. How's the audio tonight? Things are a little different when we use StreamYard. We don't really like StreamYard. StreamYard is kind of, in my book, we like to go right through.
5x5. Do I
YouTube.
sound like a robot?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yes, Uncle Charlie. Prepper Now is supposed to be along shortly. And 5x5 says Steven. Thank you so much.
Old English 800.
Not really. They don't send us anything, but if you want to send us something, we are always willing to accept.
My performance will be enhanced by
the old English. So yeah, I hope everything's good. I hope everybody's good. Actually, Rescue, what's happening, my brother? Speaking of Rescue, I was just going to mention that I got a package in the mail from my man Rescue. He had remembered that I geek out on this space stuff and sent me some awesome pictures and a couple vinyl albums. Very cool. Thank you so much, Rescue. Really appreciate the awesome gifts. I actually still have yet to show the Livingston man those photos.
It's all in my mind.
Very cool. Prepping artist, welcome. Old Mutt in the house. Hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Don't forget to any of your Hudson Valley prepping and survival swag. Share a picture of you in it or with it or it someplace if you don't want to share a picture of yourself. And just hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Livingston man, could you actually type that out for the folks in the chat there? Hashtag Old Mutt's kids. Rescue, absolutely love the package. Thank you so much. Prepping by Faith, welcome, sister. Ghost Lincoln says the old English keeps the joints moving. Jay Creature, thank you so much for your donation. Greatly appreciated, my friend. And welcome to Totalitarian Tuesday. So I got a lot planned for tonight for our buddy Prepper Now. If you guys don't know, I am a moderator on his channel.
We're going to test his mettle. Him and I are going to probably have a big word fight. Let's see who can.
Oh, there you go. A big word fight. The longest word.
Start tossing out words like representation and totalitarianism. And
things like that. Big fancy words. Robert Winslow, welcome, my friend. POTB, what's cracking is that totalitarian government shit, bro. That's what's cracking.
Now, we'll start it right off. Now, the description here of a totalitarian government. This is from thebestschools.org/magazine/common forms of government study starters. Hashtag totalitarianism. Now you know. Totalitarianism is an authoritarian form of government in which the ruling party recognizes no limitations whatsoever on its power, including in its citizens' lives or rights. A single figure often holds power and maintains authority through widespread surveillance, control of mass media, intimidating demonstrations of paramilitary or police power, and suppression of protest, activism, or political opposition.
Ooh, sounds like we are kind of headed down those slope, but quite a few of those keynotes in particular piece of writing right there struck home for me, Livingston, man.
This piece of paper cites as a real-world example, quote, although North Korea labels itself as the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, it acts as a totalitarian state. Kim Kim Jong-un, the third supreme leader in the country's Kim dynasty, rules with singular and unchallenged authority, commanding his public without political opposition. Criticism of the supreme leader or protest against his policies are crimes punishable by death, as are countless other crimes for which due process does not occur.
Correct. That is, well, I would say they're almost more of a military dictatorship as they are, but they're very totalitarian in nature, as crimes against the state are punishable by death. So that's a big thing. So we're going to find that a lot of these forms of government actually kind of blend together just a little bit, especially once you start to get into the later stages like communism, totalitarianism, authoritarianism. There it is.
Which is you'll see authoritarianism also used to describe other forms, though. So that one is kind of a toss around term.
Yeah.
An authoritarian regime, and some people would say that New York is one.
Well, they say the authoritarians are a step before the totalitarians, correct? The totalitarian is the absolute most corrupt form of government. Not necessarily the most corrupt to start, but absolute power corrupts absolutely. So once they get that power, guaranteed it would be corrupted. Now, John Durham says, I find Kim's sister kind of cute. Oh, that's funny.
Funny. Yeah, she has that whole anime cartoon waifu thing. Jay Creature knows what I'm talking about. Now, to put that into terms, now democracy, as Americans, we hear a lot about our democracy and especially how fragile.
Just Josh, what's happening, brother?
How fragile and crystalline it is that it needs to be protected at all costs, because a strong wind like a dandelion, it could just blow it away, it could be gone.
Yeah, and then your democracy is gone.
Democracy is a form of government that allows people to choose their leadership. The primary goal is to govern through fair representation and prevent abuse of power. The result is a system that requires discourse, debate, and compromise to satisfy the broadest possible number of public interests, leading to majority rule. Democracies advocate for fair and free elections, civic participation, human rights protection, and law and order. Now, some of these, as we're told, this America's big democracy. Now, some of those, America doesn't satisfy some of those requirements to me. In fact, I'm gonna be partisan now. Democrats are kind of not about fair and free elections, and they are not particularly akin to law and order unless it's coming to their estate and
exactly. And our guest has decided to join us for this evening. Yes, that sound was our guest for the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, I give you Prepper Now. Welcome.
Hello.
We were just diving into the 10 forms of government and how they kind of twist together, Prepper Now. Especially when you get towards the end, the military dictatorships, the totalitarianism, the authoritarians, they all kind of blend together at the end there. A few subtle differences, mostly the punishment that fits the crimes of the people, I guess you could say. But what are your thoughts on the later stages of the fall into totalitarianism and the similarities to where we're at right now?
Well, first of all, my apologies for being late, but
hey, no worries, man. No worries. Life gets in the way when you got a family. Family first.
And if anybody out there wants a few children, I might have a few extra to spare. No, and you might hear the kids in the back. I couldn't get them settled, but they're here now. Let's see. I don't know if any of you saw the tweet today from the president of El Salvador. Now, El Salvador, of course, used to be just a crumbling country. It had one of the highest murder rates in the world. This guy came in. Ginger loves Murray. That's good to know, buddy. My cat loves my dog. So, Let's see. So there's the president name is Bukele, I think his name is Nayib Bukele,
Okay.
and he has basically gone in and done a complete and total sweep of anything that has to do with any kind of gang, anything, and just threw them all into jail, and just went in and just cleaned house. Well, in the last year, they've had basically no murder, zero.
Wow.
And today he tweeted, and he's kind of now become this hero of people in South America and Central America. And he tweeted today that, let me see if I can find it exactly what he said, but the gist of the tweet was he was referring to the January 6th stuff. And he basically said, you know, that America is in decline when they are throwing people that are innocent in jail. And here we are being trashed by the American regime for throwing criminals in jail and having resounding success.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, so when you think about that, it's kind of, we're in bizarro world.
Absolutely.
And so let me, here we go. He said, oh, I had it. Where is it? Where are you?
Scotty Hummer, welcome, welcome,
All
welcome.
right. So Bukele, Biden's government is putting proven innocents in jail, and is at the same time concerned about us putting proven criminals in jail. So the good news is that you can turn things on a dime. The bad news is that now we are the buttheads. So you know, we're being run by fools. I don't have to tell either of you that.
Yep.
Are we
And
so much the same? Okay, is El Salvador, is this operation you're talking about, is they built this new super prison, right?
they've got like this like supermax prison, and I don't know if you've seen the video. It's
Like
pretty
literally,
intense.
they're like, okay, so first, like Operation Populate the Prison.
Yes.
So good idea, fine, cool. And then speak to the people about it, use it as a propaganda tool. But like two words come to mind, and those are concentration camp.
And you know what? There's a lot of people that are saying that because you know, he can use this as a cover to go after his political you know, like, you know, people that are his you know, dissenting against him. And I'm not saying that this is a great way to go about it. I'm just saying that the results so far have been impressive to a lot of people. Um, and it's strange that we are in this country where we are supposedly these, like, you know, law and justice and order, law and order, and this guy who's down there doing what he's doing, which is having results, but also has kind of chucked aside the due process of law, is sitting here coming at us, you know, until, you know, it's making fun of the Biden administration. So
I mean,
you
depending
know,
on what side of the fence you're on, I feel like that here, this is for better or worse. In this case, like for the people of El Salvador, if this is for the better, I'm not from there, so I can't speak to their
sure,
experience. But if this is for the better and for, like, you know, will help their nation, then this is an authoritarian measure. Yes,
it is
but it's for
authoritarian.
the good. And so it's perhaps an example of how, like, you know, extreme measures to one man are
Yeah.
necessary
Necessary
measures.
measures to another. Absolutely.
Well, you know, and that's the thing. Everything is gray. You know, you can't sit
Yep.
there and be cut and dry on everything. And, you know, I'm sure there are people there that are good people that are sitting back astonished and completely concerned at what's happening to their country. Because I mean, think about it. He might have great results and start with you know, these, you know, quote unquote you know, bad people, but who knows where he could take it. He could go beyond that and then really get the ball rolling. There's numerous, you know, history is fraught with people that started off and were, you know, kind of seen as the people's savior and then turned into these intense monsters. So
Of course, you know,
Absolutely.
we've seen this plenty of times. It seems to always be the case,
yeah,
really,
yeah,
you know.
absolutely. So you mentioned the stages, and Naomi Wolf had a great one. I just found it. These are the 10 stages. It says invoke a terrifying internal and external enemy. So we've
Yep.
already had the external. I'd say, you know, a lot of the people from the Middle East. I'll just use that loosely.
Plus, you
Um,
got big Vladiput, and
sure.
you know, just you big
Yeah, and
boogeyman.
Oh
it
yeah.
seems now they're also turning the sword towards China with this whole Taiwan thing as well. So
And that's the thing. It can evolve. You know, they can go,
yeah,
oh, okay, you know, the Middle East has run its course. Now let's go to China.
yep,
China. And then it says create a gulag, which I mean, you could make that case in El Salvador.
Well,
Absolutely.
you can make that case in America.
You could make that case in America. I mean, look at the January 6th people. They've been in.
Yeah.
You
I mean,
know.
Never
four
mind that.
years for being led around by the police
Oh
and
my
then
God!
Yeah,
I watched the
guards
video
spraying.
today. I watched the video today, and I was like, this is
Yeah.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, mortified.
With
Yeah.
no disrespect to the people that work there, America after China, don't we have like are we second place in like incarcerated peoples?
Yeah,
We're up
gotta
there.
be.
We're definitely like top 3, if not like the top. We
And a lot of people don't know that slavery is totally illegal, except in the Constitution where it says, unless as punishment for a crime.
Yeah,
Yep.
then you're making license plates and what are they? Military
Gore-Tex
gear.
jackets. I got one.
Oh, and then you can get into like the private military, or not military, private
Prison.
prison.
Yeah.
That's a whole other rabbit hole.
So
But anyway,
even under our functioning democracy, we display some of the horrific underpinnings of some of the worst other forms of government. Mike talked about. Have you ever heard of the concept of inverse totalitarianism?
no, but I know what both words mean, and I'd love to know what they combine to make.
That's what I said. I was like, now, what do you, now, because at first I'm like, what do you mean? Like, so it's like utopia or something, like there is no, but what it is like, to put it in movie terms, it's like what they had sort of in Demolition Man.
Okay, yeah.
The Fifth Element.
Sure. For books, it'd be Aldous Huxley's Brave New World.
Yes, like a corporatocracy where
Sure, absolutely. I hate
like people were
corporations.
used as commodity
Yeah.
alone, like that was their
Yeah.
only function and purpose.
Yep. No, that's a real thing too. We sit here and we quote Orwell all the time. I'm a huge fan. Actually, if I had to choose between the two authors, Aldous Huxley is my favorite. My favorite quote in the world is "Facts do not cease to exist simply because they are ignored." And it is what it is. And you could make that case. And of course, in Aldous Huxley, it was the pharmaceutical state. He needed soma to create a anesthetized populace so they could do whatever the heck they did. And it was still totalitarian. It was still authoritarian. It's just people were so drugged up and diverted, they had no clue what was going on.
Very, very similar to today.
Oh,
Huxley-
absolutely. I think we're closer to Huxley, honestly.
Orwell made a world where like reading and like knowledge was like illegal. Like Huxley made a world where nobody cared to do so.
Exactly.
Correct.
And that's really seems like where we are today. We have, all of this information at our fingertips. We still have the internet. We can still research this stuff and find out for ourselves whether it's fact or fiction. But they keep, trying to throw out a new narrative, a new lie almost every day.
Yeah.
To keep everybody confused. And the more confused you are, the less you are to act.
Well,
So that's a big thing.
Another great dystopian novel, of course, would be Fahrenheit 451.
That's a great one. Bradbury.
They burnt all the books. They had a literal squad of guys whose job it was.
Sure.
If they found books, they killed them and burnt them and made sure that nobody could ever learn anything about the past.
Mm-hmm.
So excellent. A lot of people that get mad about them erasing culture and tearing down the statues and everything, their fear and apprehension at that is based in this idea that the reasoning for doing that is to make it so that nobody remembers like the why.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like it's without a culture, a society is doomed, unfortunately. You can't just be like cosmopolitan and everything. I mean, to a certain extent, you can pull in influences, but you have to have your own identity.
Absolutely.
And when you just start to like just feel this inherent guilt about it and decide that everything you are is wrong, you're on the road to ruin once again, culturally.
Absolutely. And it seems we're in this drugged up state. The pharmaceutical companies have literally a pill for everything, right? For everything. It doesn't matter what it is.
And then they figure out what it does and then they sell it.
Yeah. And sometimes they figure that out later, as we found with a lot of the anti-anxiety meds who help people quit smoking or stop drinking alcohol, to all these different things that are actually side effects of something that they were trying to do differently. But they throw these things out like candy, man. And it's it's really messed with people, you know, between the pharmaceuticals, the lockdowns, the constant fear for a couple of years. It's really driven people to the brink. And I think we need to fight it, you know. And I think the best way to fight it is to one, clear your own head of all the garbage and make sure you're thinking straight, and be an example, you know, be a beacon of hope to the other people who say, wow, this guy's getting past all this bull crap, and he just stands there with his head high and, you know, a smile on his face, and you know, keeps pushing through life. He's not buying into the bullshit. And I think that's what, you know, a lot of us here, especially in this community on YouTube and on the social medias, are doing. Um, Leading by example, and that's a huge part, and people will see that, they will follow suit and stop buying into the garbage. But I think we all need to try a little harder to be that example and try and help set some of these people free from the traps that they're falling into, um, because totalitarianism is a trap, and you will slide into it if you buy into this garbage. um,
I agree. I mean, my thing is, I think I just want to fly under the radar. I mean, obviously, look at the way I run my channel.
Absolutely.
As much as possible. I can't like.
Well, you're still shedding the light though, my friend. You're
Yeah,
out
I
there,
am. I'm
you're
doing it,
beating
and
the drum every day, and
I'm
hats
doing
off.
soft
Hats off.
power, as they say. I'm trying to create some intellectuals and critical thinkers in the classroom, and then I come out here and I do it, and I try to get people to think critically and to kind of understand what is going on around us. I was thinking back to the government thing. The only thing I've come up that is a solution is we need as little government as possible. People need,
Absolutely.
I mean, you need some basic stuff, but like for the most part, when it becomes a behemoth and it just keeps going and growing and growing and growing, it just starts to crush things. And I was reading, I was talking about, I'm doing industrial revolution in one of my courses, and we're talking about the regulation and everything. Now it used to be one in like 100 jobs used to have a licensure of some sort. Now it's 1 in 3.
Yeah,
I mean, do you really need a license to cut people's hair? I mean, honestly,
exactly.
I understand like in the medical field and all that, but for the most part, it's become a way where everything is a racket. I was screaming about that when we were coming back from the trip, because I knew I was going to get screwed over by a cabbie. And being a former New Yorker, I was like, I just read it the whole way. And I was so mad. I was like, man, I know it's going to happen. I just took a $20 bill and just chucked it at the guy and said, take us, because we had to go like a mile. Now, any normal cab, I took a cab a month ago in New York. It was $8.
Yep.
Like, and I just knew coming from the airport, he said flat rate was $20, doesn't turn the machine on. And that's the thing. When the government is corrupt, it filters down into the people, and then the people become corrupt.
Absolutely. They typically have to struggle to survive at that point, you know. Um, Once the government goes down that slide and everybody's kind of on the take, if you aren't on the take or doing something on the slide, you will fall so far behind. It's not even funny. And I don't know if you'd ever be able to catch up.
I'm gonna share a link, you guys, if you're into like reading about this, because boy, is this read is thick.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna. I'd rather not sit here and try to like read this verbatim to you. But yeah, it's a Wikipedia link to this inverted totalitarianism, where it makes a lot of very interesting points. Although it's really leaning on comparing America to Nazi Germany, which I myself have done repeatedly, but not to this cliched extent. Like I feel like this article is possibly biased. It's simply making a point. But they're really driving it home. But I would, read it. It reads thick.
Yeah,
but you might see that there is a very clear
comparison.
To
what we're living today.
It might explain exactly. It does like explain a bit of how our government works. Now, of course, a person who is in government or a U.S. government apologist would immediately spring it. It's not like that.
Yes,
it's not like that. You're misinterpreting. You're out of context and everything else. But I would read this article. It's very interesting.
Absolutely.
It's very thick, and I'm not going to bore you with it.
Yeah, it's an in-depth read, a very in-depth read. What was yeah.
Yeah, we should make a remix out of that.
That's
Did you guys
funny.
hear that?
I've got like all the notifications off on my phone, but this one app seems to break through everything. And
news break, shit's the fakest shit I ever seen in my life. You guys and when y'all post that, you're like, yo, look at this news break.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
News break is a rough one because
very nice and fake.
You have to subscribe to Newsbreak to get the articles. Otherwise, you just get one of those paywalls, subscribe now if you want the good articles.
That's how the Ukrainians drop those grenades on the Russians. They get them to subscribe to like.
Oh yeah, they follow them on Tinder and stuff.
Yeah, and then they're like,
it's terrible.
He's right there. Like that's how they do it.
Some of the ways that totalitarianism works is to fine you, right? They're going to punish you monetarily for not toeing the mark, so to speak, right? And we've already started to see this here in America with the whole PayPal thing, where if they feel that you are posting mis or disinformation, if you have a PayPal account, they can charge you up to $2,500 in fines, they call it, without any proof whatsoever, just because they say you violate the terms, we're going to charge you this. I think this is the start of this.
It's a bold move, Cotton, and let's see how it plays out for
So
him.
I also think that we are sliding headfirst into totalitarianism here in the United States. I think the government is going to take over everything.
Well, the money first, which they are striving to do. At first, they dismissed Bitcoin and did crypto.
Yeah, now they're making their own cryptocurrency.
Now they're making their own and regulating. Correct. So it works that way.
But they're going to take the monetary system completely. Then they are going to seize control of means of production for food, I think, and especially for the military industrial complex. I really think this move is coming. They may do it under the guise of all of these accidents that keep happening. You guys, your food factory burned down again. You guys can't really be trusted with the food factories, or, you had another derailment. Maybe we should take over the railway operations just to get things through. I think this is coming, and I think it's going to be implemented slowly, not to freak everybody out. But they need to get the war machine in the United States of America churning again. And I think the best way for them to do that is total takeover of industry.
Good, because they should probably. What industry is there for them to take over that they don't already have? Well, we don't have none of the heavy industry.
So we saw during the pandemic that they took over companies like 3M and things like that to churn out
petrochemical and Silicon Valley type stuff.
Correct.
We don't make like steel and stuff anymore. We do, but not like the powerhouse.
Well, that's where I think we're going to see
America great again,
taking over and actually making this stuff happen on the back end.
So they're going to make America great again.
Well, yeah, but through the war machine.
Not the way I want them to.
Through the war
machine. I wanted it different. I didn't want this America.
So Prepper, now your thoughts on them actually turning the war machine on here and seeing what happens. Do you think that they are going to make a move like this, or do you think that is a pipe dream?
No, I think it's absolutely where they're going. Yeah, I'm muted. My very excited 4-year-old just had mommy come in the door, so he's over there gleaming.
Happy camper.
Yeah. Well, and we were out of town for the weekend, so he's like deficient on mommy time. You'll hear him in the background, but anyway, you get the point. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally what the plan is. Because think about all the but Joe just did like emergency powers on something else. Everybody's talking about where they can track every dime that you spend. I mean, that's totally the plan. If you get the war machine rolling and the emergency powers, then you can do anything. I'm doing World War II in my other course, and we're talking about rationing. The first thing they rationed was sugar. Then they moved on to coffee, meats, yada, yada, yada. And, all of this is coming. It's all to be, like you said, it's just a way to kind of, push everything into a certain avenue so the government can take over and centrally plan and commandeer all of it. And at that point, you need the currency, you need the, CBDC. And at that point, you can go in and you can make it so if you're not a good little American or patriotic to the cause and you don't have your yellow and blue on your avatar, they can shut you down and do whatever the heck they want. And so that's why, my plan is to basically try to become as self-reliant as possible. I mean, from power to food to everything, and just use as little of the system as possible. I think it's almost impossible to completely get away from it, but you can, get a lot of things away from it and just try to fly under the radar for as long as possible because they're coming. They're coming. Everybody who's got, half a brain and can, smell the coffee, they know that it's happening around them in a very soft power kind of way, and it's coming.
Yeah, I just wonder what the guise they will put it under will be. I really think they're going to try some sleight of hand with it and say that it's, because of all the accidents and things like that, that they're slowly going to start taking over these things because I really don't think that they want to jar the people into the war footing right away. But I think that they know that they've got to get their shit in gear to get the train rolling, so to speak. Otherwise, we're going to get steamrolled.
I
Are
think
we supposed to believe that these people who are completely inept and incompetent at everything they try to do and so out of touch are also the architects of this grand scheme?
No, I think a lot of the people who are completely inept at what they're doing are just puppets. And I think there's a lot of people behind the scenes pulling the strings. And I think those are the folks who are orchestrating all of this. I don't know if they're orchestrating the accidents or if they are just a consequence of, the failure of things over the years and the decay of the great society.
I think
the
that's really
fall
what
of
it is.
Rome.
Is how will this like decay? That's a great way to put it. How,
Well,
how will this be addressed in the future? Will there be some new like big new deal, like big build projects?
I don't
Fix the
I don't
freaking
know.
roads.
I don't think so. I
But
don't
instead,
think
no,
so.
it'll be used to line people's pockets. It'll go elsewhere. It'll be
Well, just
sent
like it
on-
has, Obama ran 2 terms on fixing failing infrastructure. We had 8 years of, his rule and everything's still falling apart.
They passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill early on.
Yeah.
Big thing. And
Yeah.
I figured that
Are you seeing it at work
No,
in your neck of the woods,
they're
folks?
seeing
That's
it,
the question.
but it's like it all went to the Ukraine or something. Like wherever all this money that all of a sudden came into existence.
Yeah.
To trust money, you must be smoking crack.
Yeah, you
If
got
you
to
don't see what
gotta
is
be.
capable of being done with the concept of money, you cannot be paying attention. Money is not real. And I will urge every single one of you, like I always do, to buy real tangible things now with the fake money before you can't.
That's
No
right.
one is coming to repossess your mountain house.
That's right. Stack it as high as you can, guys. Prepper now preaches it all the time. He says it quick-witted, stack, stock, stick to the plan, but he means it. He means it. It
Well,
just rolls off the tongue so well. You kind of it's second nature to say it, but there's meaning behind those words, guys.
yeah, no, there is meaning, and to circle back to what you guys are saying to bull the Jen Psaki, they're patient. They know this, and this is not something. The problem with the American mind is that it is of a Google click have. We expect things done in minutes, hours, weeks. What
Yep.
they're planning on doing takes decades to centuries, and they're
The
not
slow creep, you don't
the
notice it.
slow creep, the boiling of the frog, whatever kind of analogy you want to put to it. And so, think about how fast things have gone in the last, since 2016.
Yeah.
So, it's really, they're not going to be, going hardcore, but also they do know that there is a little bit of a ticker going on. So they have to kind of ramp things up. At the same time, they know that they can have failures as long as things are always kind of ultimately pushing towards the end goal, which is why CBDCs need to be just completely, rebuked with everything that we have, because once they get that, it literally is over. And
For those of us, including myself, that don't know what a CBDC, what is that?
It's a central bank digital currency, and effectively what it is it ends cash, and they make it so you've got credits in the bank, just like you would at a, like in a future movie. You've got 12 credits. Well, they go in and then,
without question, they are absolutely going to move to a system like that. Like someone talked about,
and it'll all be under the,
Chinese social
security
credits.
or
It's going to happen.
You could see something, let's play the hypothetical. You could see something where there's a major quote unquote hack and everybody's bank accounts are down. And so they have to go blockchain to secure us all and all of our money. So people, in a certain, portion of the
Absolutely.
population lose some money and everything, or everybody loses 12% of whatever they have because this rogue entity goes in and does it. That's the kind of thing I think that's going to happen where they're going to try to push it and where everybody will be crying out, "Please, government, save me, save me, save me." And
So
that's why what Livingston was saying is it's smart to have everything like they're not coming for a mountain house. They're not.
Correct.
They're coming for the that's how they'll get the guns too. They're not going to come to your door and knock on it. They're not stupid.
Nope.
They know
They'll
that
wait for
both
you to
you
go put them in
gentlemen
a
will go
pile at the
down,
end of the road.
yeah, with extreme prejudice. But however, if you're sitting there and you've got your 2 to 3 whatevers, they'll shut down and be like, okay, well, you can't access your money until you turn those in.
Exactly.
yep.
Dang.
Exactly. Let's see. Just Josh says 3.2 million federally owned acres will be used for 15-minute cities.
We discussed this, and Mike utterly failed to convince me that a 15-minute city was a bad thing. So
yeah, it's
I'm going
basically
to give Prepper Now
it's
the
basically-
opportunity to convert me to like that's a
Well,
terrible idea.
I'll tell you what city's going to be the first one because I saw it today. It's going to be Cleveland.
really.
Cleveland is the first one they had it on the news. I saw a clip of it, and of course
Yeah,
they're
and you know
hailing how
why?
awesome it's going to be. And so
It's not even
basically,
real, and you can't even go there. It's fucking Hollywood.
Yeah, Livingston Man is on the Ohio's not real kick.
okay. Man, I don't
Ohio
know.
may be the final frontier, but it was
Who
made in
knows?
Hollywood
Who
basement.
knows? Um, now I got chili peppers in my head.
Got him.
Yeah. So basically, what it is, a 15-minute city is you can do everything, walk everywhere, and be everywhere that you need in 15 minutes. You can go to the pub, you can go to the laundromat, you can go to the grocery store, yada yada
Cha-ching.
yada. But the
Okay.
problem is that you can't go anywhere else. Maybe I'd like to go like I did, this weekend and go to Miami to a wedding. Maybe I'd like to go to New York with my wife and family, like we did a month ago.
Where'd
You
the whole
can't do
like
that.
you can't leave thing where that escalated
Well,
really quickly?
So it's funny that you say that because it's exactly how it will escalate. They sell it under the fact that we're saving the planet, which now, of course, green environmentalism has become the new religion. And they're going to sell it under that the earth is dying and we need to go and do all these things to save things, from an environmental eco standpoint. And so if you'll get your carbon credits, but you'll only be able to go out and visit, Aunt Tilly in Los Angeles or a couple states over if you've got the carbon credits and you've been your good little boy.
Mm.
So that's how it basically kind of unfolds is that they go in and they say, okay, yeah, you've got everything you need there, you don't need to leave.
But
Well,
that's
what
the
it is,
stated doctrine. Like they said
Well,
that
essentially, the whole place is going to run on green everything. So you're looking at
self-sufficient.
electric bicycles, electric buses, electric everything. They will not be able to leave the city for fear of not being able to recharge these things and get back.
and that's
So
exactly why they want the electric vehicles because if
yes,
you've got the ability to gas your vehicle up or whatever, I mean they can. And that's the other thing is I saw this video on an Amazon driver. They've got every ability in the world in these vehicles, and eventually it'll come to the average civilian vehicle, is that they've got all of these things where they can turn it and they can make it so they're watching you from the camera, and if your eyes peer off and you're not watching the road, you get fined by Amazon. If you don't stop completely at a stop sign, you get fined by Amazon. You can only go 6 miles over the speed limit. So all of these technologies are already in play. They're just done at a corporate level. Trust me, in the name of safety, again, it'll be done where it is pushed out onto the public. Well, that's all fine and well. It's great. We don't want car accidents. But if they can take it and make it so that if you are not of the right political cloth, they can shut your vehicle down, then you're going to know because they're already doing it in China. If you are not with good social credit score, you can't travel on the train. Your kid can't go to the school that you want them to go to. You can't go visit your family. They punish you. And so, where does the line end? Where do we go? Where do we go from safety and saving 10,000 deaths a year on the road to 5 million people not being able to have a voice politically and a corrupt regime in place where they basically subjugate everybody to a soft power form of slavery?
I think if they can get the people into these cities, it's going to be too easy to close the top on that box and keep them there forever. You're basically moving people into a giant shopping mall. You know, think of the biggest shopping
It's
mall.
kind of what I was,
you've
as
ever
he
been
was
in.
describing it, it's kind of what I was like imagining.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
that's
beautiful
exactly
on the surface, but if you were to scratch away at what it really is, it's a bit sinister.
Yeah,
it is exactly, and it's a well. I mean, there's this term is over 100 years old now. It's something I've dropped on my channel a lot. It's called a panopticon. They can basically say you don't know they're there, but they're always watching. And you know, there's a
Yep.
lot of cities
They
like that,
already always are.
which they
Like,
are. You know, New York, they're always watching. I know this. We had friends
Yeah.
in the
And I saw the
NYPD who
thing that
told us that.
you alluded to with the vehicles. That's a big thing that Ford is actually pushing right now. They are looking to have the cars repossess themselves if you don't
I
pay.
read that. You're absolutely correct.
Prepping Mantis just said the same thing too. There it is. The
Absolutely correct.
vehicle can shut off the AC for failure to pay, and it can self-drive itself to the repo yard.
Okay, well, like what happens
they
if
have
you're making,
DeWalt power tools that can do this now.
uh,
They can't drive themselves to the repo yard, but they simply won't work. If you like steal it from the store, it just can't work. Scan
well,
before.
you know,
It's like
the-
a track phone card. It won't work
Incredible,
unless
man.
it works
Incredible.
right.
but think about it, like, yeah, you're gonna work that, but then there's gonna be the person who like gets their account, you know, something happens to their bank account and the bank screws up, they miss a payment, and then all of a sudden they can't get to work and it just snowballs out of control. I think we've gotten to the point where we've had peak convenience. I think, and I say this to my students all the time, I mean, we're the most anesthetized, like, you know, over entertained society that has ever existed. Everything is to make
Yeah.
everything so, I mean, to the point where I wouldn't be surprised if there's like the butt wiper 9000. I don't even have to wipe my ass anymore because the toilet's going to do it for me, which someone, of course, will probably put a bidet in there. But, you know, it's so ridiculous now with everything, especially with like vehicles. You know,
As
I
a
don't need,
as a
you know,
father, you must have seen the movie Wall-E, right?
yes, and that's I literally dropped that analogy to my class. I said, we're going to be a bunch of 400 pounders
I
rolling
nearly
around the
shed a
streets.
tear. Like they showed it. It was supposed to be funny, but I nearly shed a tear because it was so true. I'm like, oh my God, that is exactly what is gonna happen.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, yes. It's just like, at what point do we say, okay, this is enough? You know, I mean, this is enough. I don't need a car to drive me. I don't need a car to do all these different things. And I don't need, you know, the government to just sit there and make my entire existence so like just enshrined
Yeah.
in
And yeah,
bubble wrap that I can't ever get hurt. And then you think about the other end of things. It's like, okay, they've made this society like that, but then they're sitting there crying and pissing and moaning because there's quote unquote too many people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
just where does it go? You know?
It's like I said earlier, man, I think it's just designed to confuse all of the critical thinkers. And we just need to
complete obfuscation.
stay the course. We need to stay the course. We need to keep speaking the truth. Keep calling out the bullshit when we see it. Joke about them, make fun of them. It's a big way to shed their crap, is just to turn it all into the joke that it really is. And the more you make it a joke, the more pissed off they're going to be. And the more people that laugh at them, well, that's better. You know, the more the better, in all honesty.
Oh, and we need more people just calling out the BS for what it is. I mean, and
Absolutely.
it is absurd. It's not hard to call out the absurdity. It's just, you know, I sit there. It's like I say this. I don't know if I'm just getting an old crotchety old man, but like the more I'm,
I know the feel. I know the feel.
background goes, yep.
Cut your hair. Cut your hair. Your music sucks. Pull your pants
Oh
up.
my
All
God.
of it. All of it.
I was
Don't get me
heavy
started
metal
on
or
cultural man
you
shit.
know, I was a heavy metaler 15 years ago. You know, just people are just dang it old, you know, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're at a point where we just kind of hit peak everything, and you know, my only answer for everything is just to kind of dial it back and to have as least amount of, you know, put into the system as, you know, buy into the system as little as possible.
What value would you place on you know, the proverbial knowing your history?
Oh, you have to. I mean,
You put it. Do you put some importance on it, and why?
well, all right. So knowing my history is how I called out and understand why cancel culture is so terrible because it's literally what they did in China in the Cultural Revolution. So by knowing my history and going through courses, I said, oh, wait a second. In June of 2020, when I had a very small channel of 350 people, I said, gosh, I better kind of take my face away because this is starting to look like Maoist China. And
Yeah.
thank God I did. And so I think knowing your history is incredibly important. Knowing that, the government didn't do a great job of cleaning up other environmental catastrophes, says the people in Ohio that they should watch themselves and be very vigilant into what they're consuming. So, all of these things, it's just it all, it's absolutely overwhelming to think of everything going on. And so sometimes you just want to shut down, but at the same time you can't, especially if you're a parent or if you're a loved one or whatever, and you're watching after mom, whoever.
Yeah.
You have
Business
to just stay
owners,
vigilant. You
everybody, man,
have
just
to,
keep
yeah, you
forging
gotta
ahead.
stay vigilant. So
In dispersion, in the dispersion, thank you so much for your donation. They say, throwing this on your radar, there's been a Russian S-300 sitting just outside NAS Oceana for over a month now, training for pilots, war profiteering, many more questions than answers, needs national attention. The whole thing over there needs some serious attention. It's in a bad way. What it doesn't need is any more American tax dollars. I can tell you that much. It's time for the rest of the world to help bear this burden. And I sincerely hope that all of the rest of the NATO countries open up their wallet to the Ukraine, and we led by example. Let's let them take the ball and run with it now, because I think this is really going to bleed us dry here. But like we said earlier, the CBDC may show up just in time to bail us out. You never can tell.
If you think real money backed by gold that isn't like real, or the money's not even backed by gold anymore,
No.
and you think your dollar bills and your credit, the numbers in a computer, are worth something, then take another fat hit of that 30 rock that you got and think about what Bitcoin and blockchain is, because
it doesn't exist.
I have asked
it doesn't exist.
every single person I've ever met, what is blockchain? What is Bitcoin? And they either use one or the other words to describe it. Like, what is blockchain? Like, it's Bitcoin. I'm like, what is Bitcoin? It's blockchain. They run in circles about what it really is, and what it is fucking fake.
It's true.
You can't eat it, drink it, wear it, or fuck it, and it's useless. Buy real shit with your fake money now before you can't. I promise you that will be our downfall. It's going to get fucked and stuck in this social credit system where your Samsung smart fridge won't let you order groceries because
that's right.
You voted for Trump in 2016.
Or you got way too much beef in your fridge, man. That's just beyond your carbon.
You have enough, and are you going to get fined? And it's going to weigh stuff and know that you buy real shit with the fake money now, please.
The hamburger that you are trying to access from your fridge is unavailable. Lose 10 pounds. Lose 10 pounds and you can access it later.
That's right. That's right. Sorry, you've eaten way too much red meat this week, Chief.
Buy real shit with the fake money now, for the love of God.
Do it, guys. Do it. As Mr. Now says, stack stock, stick to the plan. Keep it going, guys. Keep prepping. Ghost Lincoln, thank you so much for that generous donation. We really appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
And you are correct. It is not looking good for anyone. So do your due diligence, guys.
But that sounded like a deadbeat downer. I mean, it's that I don't see a path like up, like to the promised land.
Yeah,
I see it's downhill for sure.
I see many ways that this could go wrong, and I don't see any ways how we get back from here without extreme collapse or extreme violence. Those are the two ways.
I see harbingers of the decline of an empire.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And to me, it seems like the ball is rolling ever faster. Each day it picks up a little more steam. It's that big snowball going down the hill, and it's picking up trash cans. Now it's picking up park benches as it goes down. It's not a very good thing. And it feels like it's headed towards that brick wall, and it's all just going to smash here soon.
Jay Creature, fuck you, bro.
What's he say? Real stuff with a fake money. Yeah. Thank you so much, Jay Creature. We appreciate you.
yeah, like Water Tiger said, the momentum is building. I agree with that, and we all feel it. Everybody feels it. I
Yeah.
was like the most normal dude on the planet in 2018. I was just a dad. I liked NFL, and I was a prepper, but like it wasn't anything I shared with anyone. And it was just because originally I was a hurricane prepper, and then I kind of started to get into geopolitics, and then the mid 2010s I was worried about North Korea with an EMP, and so I was like,
Yeah.
get a little more, a little more, a little more. And then of course, Rona hit, and then it was just like, all right, I guess we're doing this. And then the crazy that has unfolded from there, it's just in 3 years, it's just nuts. I mean, it's absolutely crazy where we are. And if you'd have asked 3 years ago, would we be here right now with potential for World War III and all these crazy things going on? There's a freaking train derailment with a chemical spill every 45 minutes.
Yeah.
I just it's just nuts how quick the uptick has been.
Yeah, it's definitely ramping up, and
Yeah,
I hate to say ramping up because when you ramp up, it seems that things would slow down.
in your inverted totalitarianism article, it talked about how the media would fixate on certain like specific events and keep like a narrative.
Yeah,
And then eventually
keep
goes
harping
away
on it.
and gives way to a different like a new thing. Uh, the same way it's like, the enemy is East Asia, and then all of a sudden, like, wow, no, the enemy is Eurasia. Like, and
Yeah,
you forget
it's
all
been them
about
the whole time, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like, so we're fixated on train wrecks and air pollution, and then in 2 weeks, like something else, ladies and gentlemen, is going to come along. You're going to remember Palestine, Ohio. You're
Yeah,
going to be like, oh wow, yeah,
the next great crisis to come.
it's like the one hit wonder of the global events world. Like, and it's
Just
run
keep
in
hitting you with it.
it's run in that fashion. You got to come out with the hits and get off the stage.
Yeah, I agree. It's getting crazy. I don't know. I just learn skills. I agree. Put as much money into physical items as possible, whether it's food. I mean, you can even use liquor. I mean, my dad in the Great Recession knew that things were going to get bad, so he dropped everything, got out of corporate America, and bought a liquor store.
Imagine having 50 billion in the bank and the power goes out and society turns to shit and you have nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how. I mean, that's the kind of scenario I think is the most plausible and probable.
It's
Because
just an extreme risk that I would not be willing to take. Maybe it's because it came up like, I guess, poor, but no way I'm going to put my faith in that system that relies on computers and electricity. And then all of a sudden,
Yeah,
it's all
gone.
gone. You have nothing, and it's gone. Yeah, give me a break.
Well,
Come on.
imagine you wake up and then everybody like their accounts are wiped. If everyone was, how would
Come on.
what would happen?
Yeah, well, I guess at that point, everybody's equal on the fact of you have what you have, and that's about it.
If the power grid goes out, your bank don't work.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, especially not if your currency is completely digital.
I mean, if you don't have money at home, I mean, you don't have to have tens of thousands of dollars, but if you don't have at least like a month's worth of money to get you through the day to day, now of course that's not paying bills, that's not paying your rent. I'm just talking like
In
get
the
you
event of
food
a
from
grid down, I can guarantee I
exactly.
ain't paying no fucking bills.
No, well, and nobody would.
They
But
can
like,
turn the power back on, then I'll pay the fucking bill.
exactly.
I think deep down, every prepper wishes that they knew the day before all this was going to happen so
Of
that
course.
we could max the plastic and stick it to the credit card companies one last time on our way out the door.
It is okay. We all gonna die Wednesday, so if you go max and for like,
Yeah, it's a Tuesday. You're going shopping on a Tuesday.
we all gonna die Wednesday, so tonight would be the night. And if you can get that next day prime shipping, I suggest it.
Ken Hillcross says, have something valuable to trade with. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Barter items are extremely good to have, especially the vices. If you got a pack of cigarettes and a bottle
I got a
of
can
booze,
of spam. I got a can of spam for that.
It will go a long way. It will go a long way.
Well, you need people too, which is what I love these talks with you guys. I work, from time to time when I have time to come and watch. You got to have people. You got to have people that you trust that you can, have. I'm lucky. Actually, one of my mods, JVA, Jason, Virginia, just moved real close to our bug out location, and we've got a bunch of people over there that if there's ever a problem, everybody would circle the wagons and be like, okay, something's going on. we need to kind of talk about this and establish some form of OPSEC in our little neck of the woods over here, and so having people is important. There's a great thing that POTB said. He said charisma. I thought that was fantastic. You have to have charisma. You have to be able to talk to people. You have to be able to, converse and negotiate and make it so there's, an initial,
It's always been the mark of a
basic
leader,
trust.
statesman, anything. You got to have charisma.
Yeah, you have to, and in that kind of situation, the enemy is not going to be the neighbor down the street, but at the same time, you have to be leery that them, and you can have a very basic trust on some things, and that's, I don't know. It just now we're in the hypotheticals, and we all play these things out.
Oh yeah. Well, you got to war
you're
game
never
as
gonna
much
know
as you
until
can,
you know.
man.
Yeah,
And so it
yeah.
boils down to what your situation is or what you believe is kind of realistically going to be. And you should prep and plan for that without making outrageous things, and just, consider what's going to be actually real for you in your situation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Prepping game is very personal. And just because you hear a guy say how he did it, doesn't matter. Like, take some lessons, sure, but you got to apply it to what your actual situation
Absolutely.
is going to be.
Absolutely. Everybody's situation's a little bit different than the last person's. So again, it's really personal. Just keep at it, guys.
Open mind.
Prep what you eat what you prep. Rotate. Practice with your survival gear. Get out there. If you got a bug out bag with all new, brand new, unwrapped shit in it, I boot you right in your ass. Go outside. I don't care if it's in your backyard. Put the stuff to the test.
Just give it a try.
Test it out. Make sure it's going to work for you. Make sure you know how to set that up, day or night, light or dark. Make sure you know how to use that stuff.
Even if you've done something once, you now have experience.
Exactly. At some point, that stuff that's in your bag, your life may depend on that stuff. So you need to know how to use it. You need to know its limitations. Get out there and do the things, folks. That's the one thing that I stress the most. And let's see. Old Mutt wants to know, who's planning on going to Vision Preparedness Weekend Get Together and the next Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival Weekend Get Together? Come talk about things we can't say on YouTube.
Folks, this will be where we bring up our Facebook group. If you're new here or you don't know, we have a Facebook group, Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival.
Yep, we're there.
Can't miss the logo. You'll know. Join up. We love. We are a couple thousand.
Oh yeah, I think over 1,000 people now in the Facebook group.
That's awesome.
It's growing every day. Every day it's growing.
Topics gone wild.
Yeah, yeah. We have some fun in there. We don't keep it too serious. It's very lighthearted. But that's where you will find all of the Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival in-person events. And once we get Vision Preparedness on the Facebook, I'll share his there as well. But guys,
Old Mutt is a legend in our community, and
absolutely.
Yep.
We're putting together special badges for people who have physically met him. And
that's right. You're one of Old Mutt's kids.
He's kind of like a Wendigo. He's a cryptid.
Yeah.
Not sure he's real.
Okay. No, he's a mythical creature.
Also, at the 2-minute warning, we are premiering a very special thing.
Oh yeah!
Directly after this live stream,
Operation Polar Eclipse at 8:35 tonight. We've got another episode coming out.
We worked really hard on this one, and we suffered in the cold. And we really hope you guys will give us another. It'll take them another 15 minutes after this.
Yeah.
We're gonna check
it out.
There'll be a 5-minute break. We're going to premiere a new video, and I really hope you guys will stick around and check it out because it's so cool, man.
Yeah, we put a lot of work into it. Prepper Now, any final words, my friend? Please speak to the people.
All I can say is, from what I'm reading and what you guys are saying and what we're all kind of getting into here, I think these people are ahead of the game, and just keep doing what you're doing. As I always say, stack, stick to the plan. Keep your head in the swivel when your powder dry, because we're in strange waters right now. This is as a history teacher is feeling real Europe 1936, and so I would say keep
the
doing
rise of authoritarianism.
Absolutely.
Yep, it's well on the way.
And I thank you, and gentlemen, thank you for having me. I love coming. It's tough, of course, but I love coming on. Always love coming and talking to you guys.
I appreciate our conversation so much.
Seriously.
I love talking to you.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys. I love you. I'm naked.
Prepper Now, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Everybody out there, thank you for joining us tonight and spending your Tuesday evening with us. We really appreciate you. Smash that like button.
Yes.
Go to Prepper Now's Facebook page, his groups, he's got everything, man. Everything. He's everywhere. He is one of the hardest working guys in preparedness. Believe it. Believe it. He is everywhere.
We got a crisis
Go
report
to
coming
his,
later.
That's right. He's on it. See, as soon as he gets done with this, he's back on it again.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
nonstop,
Oh, yeah.
nonstop.
Always.
Prepper Now, thank you so much for keeping all of us informed in the community. We really appreciate you and all of your hard work that you put into your channels. Thank you for joining us tonight, and thank everyone else for joining us tonight. Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival, and we will catch you guys on the next one. Stay safe, guys.